Hey everybody, I didn't think I'd be able to do this video because I didn't think I'd be able to spot all the Tyranid stuff because I'm not a big Tyranid player. But I watched the trailer in half speed and went through and I've screenshotted everything and there's some cool stuff in here, so I thought we'd go through it anyway. And starting off right at the beginning of the trailer, obviously you have Gulliman crying in front of a big door or whatever. Then we break to the first shot of a Tyranid is here. This is I think it's a Hormagant. So we've got a big claw in here, reminiscent of the claw that the Termagant has. Obviously, it has a massive claw that comes over the top as well. But I think this looks more like a Hormagant than it does a Termagant, which is interesting. You do see some. It's really tricky. The Hormagaunts are my favourite models in the current range. I think they're really, really cool. They look much more agile than a lot of the other Tyranids, and that's one of my little bugbears with the Tyranid range at the moment is that they don't have much agility to them in terms of their look. But yeah, I think anyway. Just starting off really quickly, I think this is a Hormagant. But if we fast forward through. We obviously have some Space Marines dying quite regularly through lots of stuff, and then this is the Termagants which are coming in. Now we've already seen the Termagants. This is not any real surprise seeing the Termagants running in. They've still got that kind of very, very classic pose, sprinting down. They're almost like raptors from Jurassic Park in the style, and we've seen the models. We've seen the models for the Termagants. Now. Interestingly, I was pondering and I was wondering whether the Termagants and the Hormagaunts might be a dual kit. But I think when we see the Hormagaunts later, they're much more upright, much more stretched out. So I don't know whether this spine across the back of the Termagant is going to still work for the Hormagant. It'll be quite interesting to see. But there's that claw again as well. So maybe that first one was maybe that is a Termagant, but I'm sure I saw down here somewhere. I'm sure I saw a larger claw in the video, which for me I thought that was a Hormagant rather than a Termagant. I didn't see the little spitter. Yeah, but I mean they're really cool. One of the things that I do like about these models compared to the old ones is that they've got the scale right. They've got the detail and the cleanliness of the detail in here. So the muscle splits and the panel gaps, if you like, between all their body parts is much finer and much neater. It looks really, really cool. Anyway, so that's the Termagants. Let's get to some more interesting stuff. So. Ooh, oh, it's so cool. So the Screamer Killer. I think this has gone all the way around the internet already. Everybody knows that the Screamer Killer is on its way. Now, I don't know what I do. I've got it here. So the current Carnifex range, again, it's not very agile and it's a little bit kind of squat. And I took one. I don't know whether you can see that there. I took one and tried to make it into a bit more of an upright Screamer Killer pose. It's not far off, is it? I still don't quite like it. I think it needs legs. I was gonna do like hovering Nid army, and that was the Screamer Killer that I kind of came up with, the Carnifex, because I do like the Carnifex models. I think they just need to be a bit more upright. Now I know I've seen a few kind of mumblings on the internet that some people don't like the look of this model, and they're kind of panic buying the current Carnifex. I wouldn't worry. Like, honestly, A, I love this model anyway, but that's beside the point. B, I think this is going to be a different bioform. So, like, physiology-wise on this, I think this is going to be a different model. So they're going to be running concurrently, the old Carnifex and the new Carnifex. If you cast your mind back to the Necron range, when the Necron had their range refresh, the destroyers dropped in. The Lockhurst destroyers, the heavy destroyers, and they didn't replace the regular Lockhurst destroyers, and they were still running kind of concurrently, which I thought was quite interesting. Actually, I thought they might have used that body and just put some more. Used the hull and put some more bodies and weapons on it. But anyway, the Screamer, it's so cool. It looks really good. I don't know. Did everybody think the old model was ugly, like the second edition, the classic second edition Screamer Killer model? Did everybody think that was ugly? I'm not sure. I think I'm very tempted to try to get hold of the one, although I have had a look on eBay. They're very, very expensive. So a classic Screamer Killer. I'm wondering what it would look like if you put like a modern day paint style on it. I'm quite curious, I might still try and find one on eBay to paint up and then go alongside and have both of them and paint them up in a kind of a modern painting style and see how it holds up. Anyway, it does bioplasma the does bioplasma the Marine in front of it, which is awesome. It's really cool. It's more upright. It's got these forearms. The claws don't seem to be as long, but they are very much on limbs which are as long, which is quite interesting. So they've, rather than making the claws the kind of the big hug, if you like, I think they've made arms and then the claws on the end. And it's the same down here. I think all of them have an elbow, and then the claw is on the top of the elbow. Head is much smaller than the old classic one. You've got the current style of the Tyranid carapace here. The mouth is a little bit smaller than I was expecting, particularly when it gets that rah! So so cool. I hope there is there's going to be, aren't there? They're not going to reinvent the Screamer Killer without having the classic face and the mouth open, screaming the bioplasm in the face of the Marine. It's so good. Right. Anyway, more Tyranids. It's very, very cool. It's very, very cool. Right. What is this one? This is a Screamer Killer. I took lots of screenshots, and I'm trying to run the trailer back in my head as I'm going through the screenshots. So this is the unit of Marines which are burning the Screamer Killer, trying to kill it, obviously. I think you can probably see a little bit of its form around here. The dead Marines that they're getting their asses kicked, aren't they? The Marines in this trailer, I absolutely love it. They're getting their asses kicked. And the only thing that can bring the Screamer Killer down is the classic Dreadnought, the double las cannon missile launcher Dreadnought, which actually I'm quite excited to see. I know this is a Tyranid video, but even though I don't like the Redemptor, I have managed to kind of tweak my Redemptors that I've got. I've got two Redemptors, and I've managed to tweak the pose and kind of given them a little bit of a nod back to the classic box Dreadnought. So I'm looking forward to making a classic looking Redemptor Dreadnought with this kind of classic loadout as well. But that's the only thing that brings down the Screamer Killer. Pow pow pow. Again, you can see these. The limbs, so this one here as well, so this lower one here, you can see the forearm, the upper arm, the forearm here, and then the claw. So it's the same here. You've got the upper arm, the forearm, and then the claw. So it's quite interesting the way they've kind of changed the look of the classic Screamer Killer and merged it in with the current range. But I really, really like the more upright version. One of the things that I don't like about a lot of the Tyranids, and it's the same thing that I had, the same bug, I suppose, no pun intended, about Angron. Angron is so kind of hunched over, and a lot of the Nids are so hunched over, and they're kind of sluggish, and you lose all the really cool detail, because I think all the cool detail is on the chest. And things like the Carnivore and the Horror Specs and things like that, they're all kind of hunched over, and you miss all the cool detail on the chest. Anyway, this Screamer Killer being more upright, love it. Absolutely fantastic. Cannot wait to paint one. I don't know what colour scheme, though. I don't know what colour scheme. I'm so excited. I'm sorry. Right. Oh, this is so difficult to get a screenshot of. However, don't worry. I've got a better screenshot later in the trailer. Now, we all know what's going to happen. We all know what appears. It's the Lictor. Has everybody watched... and I'm sure it happens in other stuff as well. Has everybody watched Rings of Power, where the elf gets dragged back through the vines by the orc's hands? Yeah, it's slightly reminiscent of that. I love it. Absolutely fantastic. So yeah, this is the Gravis Apothecary, new Gravis Apothecary, being grabbed by the Lictor. Just in a blur. Literally, you cannot get a screenshot. I challenge anybody, if you can get a screenshot of this. I didn't try playing it at a quarter speed. I'm playing all this at half speed. But if you can get a screenshot of this, Tag me on Twitter or Instagram or something. I want to see it. I want to see what this pose as it's grabbing and pulling the apothecary back looks like. Fantastic. And there it is, slightly better, just after he's killed him, ripped him apart. Fabulous. It's good actually. It is good that they're redoing the Lictor. The Lictor is a classic model. It kind of still stands up. I hope. One of the things I hope, and it was one of the things about the Parasite and Mortrex as well. If they'd made the Parasite maybe 50% bigger, it would have been a really cool model. I thought it was just a little bit small. So I hope they make the the Lictor. Gene Stealers. We haven't seen any Gene Stealers. I hope they make the Lictor just like a little bit bigger, but don't go fat and sluggish. Keep it nice and agile. And I'm loving the kind of the scale of the claws as well, the composition and the proportions of the claws, keeping them long, keeping these claws long, but still keeping them kind of really fine and sharp. Brilliant. Right, the Biovores. Interesting about the Biovores, because I can't quite get my head... I should have checked the codex before I did the video. I can't get my head around which way round the Biovores and the pyrovores are. Is it the Biovores which are firing the plasma and the pyrovores which are firing the spore mines? In which case, are we going to see a dual kit? It would be slightly weird if they didn't, I would imagine. But are we going to see a dual kit behind of the Biovores and the pyrovores? In which case, are we going to see some new spore mines as well? But that's the I think that's the las cannons from the Dreadnought. That's not the bioplasm from the Biovores. But the classic small head, massive gun over its head, massive gun over its shoulders, nice little kind of small limbs on the front, but look at the scale of it. I think it's, and I love all the Tyranid kind of carapace across the back. They're really leaning into with the Biovore. I think it's fantastic. I'm looking forward to that. Like, if you're a alien species which is evolving to create a mortar, an indirect fire plasma cannon on the back of your head, then you lean into it, don't you? You have like a little body with a massive... It's just fantastic. Really, really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing these models as well. Right, let's have a look at what the next one is. I think this is a Hormagant. Again, you've got these claws around at the front. You've got the kind of classic gaunt legs down here. So I think this is a Hormagant. I think we get a slightly better... Oh no, I've ruined it. That's the Lictor. I think you get a slightly better view of one later on. But the Hormagants aren't very... They're so quick and they're so agile, and they've got that kind of leaping pose look in the trailer. They've got that kind of image, but it all happens so quickly you can't quite register it. And I certainly can't seem to get a screenshot. Anyway, I think that's a Hormagant. I think that's the one that drags down the Terminator, the Dreadnought. Anyway, this is, as promised, there is a better picture of a Lictor. At least I think that. I imagine this is a Lictor. I can't think of anything else which has got these classic scythes. God, this is looking good. It's got the size down here. So it's got the lower. It looks like, so there's its tail. And its chest is here, and it looks like the scythes here are the lower limbs, because it looks like it's got an upper limb here as well, unless that's what's happened as it's been blown apart or something. But it looks like it's got an upper limb, and then the lower limb is the massive classic scythes, and then the tail and the legs and everything. It's gonna be so good. They're gonna be so good. They really, really are. Very, very, very excited. Very excited. And poor little Marine, which is about to die. Now, I think this is all just like kind of Tyranid terrain. I think this is just what happens when they bioform the planet. There is something. Well, was that in the last picture? Was it in the bio? No, it wasn't. It was later on. Hang on, don't worry. So yeah, there's Lictor. There's other Lictor as well. Again with the classic sized talons. and googly mouth, with all the little tentacles coming out of his mouth. And you do get to see later on. You do get to see there. I think that's a Hormagant again. I think that's a Hormagant because it hasn't got the gribbly mouth that the Lictor has. I think this is a Lictor here. You got the carapace with the horn on the top, and then the gribbly mouth, and then I think this is a Hormagant. So you've got the claws and the arms coming up here, and it's leaping forwards. This is a Terminator here who's just about to get squished by a Hormagant. Oh, I'm gonna have if I can have an army of Hormagants, because when I do armies, I'm like my favourite type of armies are heavy infantry armies, which is why like I've kind of fallen into Imperial Guard. Finally, I've resisted for a long time. But if I can have lots and lots of Hormagaunts and I can find a way of painting them quickly, I might end up doing that. Now, what are these? What do we think these are? I mean, he is eating a Terminator whole. So, are they going to be support monsters? Are they going to be affecting the enemy's army to a detriment? Like, I don't know what they are. This is one of the best parts of the trailer, though. I love the fact that it's a grimdark 41st millennium. There is only war, but Games Workshop and whoever does this video still has the kind of tongue-in-cheek realization that we're just playing with toy soldiers, and this like as they're eating, it's fat. Yeah, it's brilliant. But they're huge, and there's 2 of them. So are they going to be in units of 2? Support weapons. I'm always trying to kind of cast my mind back to the Necron relaunch, and the Necron relaunch had the Canoptic Reanimator. So is this sucking the bioform DNA out of whoever they're fighting, and is going to spew out or manipulate that bioform into some kind of Tyranid, new Tyranid model that you can put on the board or something, or maybe you can just put some more Termagants on. No, you wouldn't be putting Termagants on because you've already got that with the Terry the Tyranifex. Is it Tyranifex? No, I'm trying to think. Tabletop Tactics called it Terry, didn't they? Anyway, the one that spits out the Termagants. But what is it? It reminds me of the Dweller in the Dark in Lord of the Rings with the tentacles and pulling it into the mouth. But again, you've got the classic Tyranid carapace. How many legs have we got here? We've got 1 back leg. We've got a couple of little front legs. So it looks like it's only got 4 legs. 2 big back legs, a couple of little front legs, and then lots of tentacles up the or in the Terminator. A couple of little beady eyes going, "Oh, what are you looking at? I'm eating. Leave me alone." Can you see anything more on this one? Not really. So the reason I'm thinking support, so a new for this new model, is they've got close combat coming out of their ears. Like Tyranids don't need any more close combat stuff. So I don't think it's going to be a close combat type model. I don't think it clearly doesn't look like it's going to be a ranged combat model. So they've got the psychic covered. So it's got to be some sort of support. It's interesting. This is the one that's like made me the most curious from the trailer. I can't imagine what this would be. But if you like knock off everything that it's not going to be, then you're left with support, leadership, tactics, something like that. Anyway, I think this model is going to lean into the ability column. If you remember the data slates that we get, or that we've been previewed in 10th edition, I'm going to do another video about that. By the way, watch that video. It's going to be really, really cool. If you think about that data slate, the ability section in there, I think that's going to be quite interesting. I think these are going to lean into that ability, and they're going to have quite a lot of interesting abilities. Anyway, that's me guessing. Mini Hive Tyrant, Warrior Prime, Winged Warrior Prime. There's a better picture for you, and I've still got the pause section down here. Actually, no, I was rewinding. Warrior Prime. It's not. It's not. I don't think, for those of you who are saying, "Oh, it's a Tyranid warrior, a hive tyrant with wings." It's too small for a hive tyrant with wings, and also it's only got 2 limbs. So I think it's more of a Tyranid warrior, a Warrior Prime with wings. Maybe an HQ choice. I don't know how the force organization is going to work in 10th edition, but if it's not an HQ choice, maybe they drop it into an elite choice, something like that. But or maybe you can attach these to warrior units. Now, I would probably say that that's not going to happen because I can't see any warrior units around there, and I think they'd probably hint at something like that if there was. So I think this is just going to be an HQ choice. He's really cool. Again, it's really, really good. If you imagine, so this might be the Parasite of Motrex, just jacked up a little bit, so scaled up to a Tyranid warrior size. If it comes in that pose, that hell yeah, I'm all about it. It would be quite cool if it has bioplasma as well. If you don't see anything kind of breathe. It doesn't breathe any bioplasma out of its mouth. I think that might just be reserved for the Screamer Killer. It'd be cool if it wasn't, though. Yeah, the way this just rips a Terminator in half, it's like, thanks very much, yeah. I've taken a lot of bullets to my chest, but now I'm just going to rip you in 2. Gone. I'm very, very excited to see how combat and everything works in 10th edition. Anyway, Tyranid, Warrior Prime, with wings, super, super quick. It's going to be up in your face very, very quickly. Right now, this... I don't know what... I don't know... So this screams facehugger to me, but I don't know. I haven't seen this model. I haven't seen that... Like so I'm looking at these tentacles here. So this is the Terminator. And this is a really, really, really kind of split second scene with the Terminator. Terminators come down. Obviously, the Space Marines are getting completely overrun. The Terminators come down, land on the homing beacon, and cut some things up. Now, this, the only thing I can think of is that this is the Lictor, but it looks a bit more like a face hugger than it does a Lictor, which the Lictor has the gribbly things kind of coming out of its mouth and forming its mouth. This looks a little bit more wide open. I don't know whether that's just because it's screaming or something, but maybe it's a Lictor because you've got this big arm here, which would be representative of that sized arm. But yeah, maybe a Lictor, maybe not. I haven't seen anything else on the trailer that suggests that this isn't another model, so I'm going to go with Lictor, but what do you think? Big gribbly facehugger with big chunky arms. There we go. Right, next one. Now, I have a friend on Twitter and my Discord called Tari who gave me a nudge about this one because this is one of the reasons why I wasn't going to do the Tyranid stuff because I didn't think I had the knowledge. However, if you ask on Twitter... then you have lots of friends who come out and go, actually, yeah, that's the hang on, what is it? The Doom of Malantai, and a very, very quick Google search of the Doom of Malantai. It's the Tyranid zoanthrope. It's basically a jacked up Tyranid zoanthrope that destroyed Craftworld Malantai, an Eldari Craftworld. And the model looks amazing. If you just zoom in on the next one, look at this, it's insane. Now, for those of you who know what models I've made and have been following me for a while, you will remember that when the amazing Katie joined Tabletop Tactics, I made a Neurothrope for her to celebrate her joining. Because I've got lots of my friends at Tabletop Tactics, and I'm just super happy when they're doing really, really well. So Katie joined, and I made a Neurothrope for her, and I made it out of the I don't know what the model is now. Anyway, there's a Tyranid model that's got lots of gribbly, like it might be the Horror Specs, lots of gribbly tentacles. I turned those tentacles on its end and put a head on it, put a zoanthrope head on it, and there we go. There was a Neurothrope. Really, really cool. I think Games Workshop, no, they haven't stolen it. But yeah, I did this. I thought it looked really cool having floaty things with the tentacles hanging underneath it. But now, I mean, this is undoubtedly a zoanthrope silhouette. The classic zoanthrope silhouette, not so much the new one. The new one is probably a little bit more like this. However, again, if you relate it back to the Necrons, what Necron came out? Big main character Necron came out with two little bits on the side of it. Silent King, two menhirs. So, is this the Doom of Malantai with two powering up zoanthropes that it brings along into the battle with him? Oh, I mean, I can't wait to paint this one. I need to decide on a colour scheme. I don't know how to paint them, but I almost want to paint them very, very dark and have like the psychic energy, like have one spot highlight on or spot colour on all the models so that they stay very dark, but the spot highlight you almost do OSL, particularly for the psychic ones like this, but then for the lesser ones like the Lictor, you can almost do like poison, like luminous poison OSL on those. I think it would be really, really cool. Anyway, Doom of Malantai, zoanthrope, special character, I'm calling it now, special character with two menhir style zoanthrope buddies that he brings along into battle, and these are the ones which take the damage before you can get to the Doom himself. Let's zoom in and look at this guy. I mean, he's got two mouths, for God's sake. Come on. What are they? See, these just look like brains. These are literally just brains on stalks. Super, super cool. And this guy, just so I can get it right, he feeds off the psychic and psychic powers. He feeds off psychic powers of his enemies and also their souls, which is just terrifying. Yeah, maybe he channels it with these two, with his little buddies. And you've got the zoanthrope crown here, the classic zoanthrope crown. I really like this, and I like it. I like this look. I love it when Games Workshop take the classic styles that they used to have and integrate them with the current aesthetics of their range. But they do it so well like this. Like, this doesn't look cheap or comical, like some people would say, like the old classic zoanthrope would look a little bit comical. This looks terrifying, and way better than the current zoanthrope range, in my opinion. The current zoanthrope range is just like it's just a big carapace, isn't it? It hasn't got any character. This thing is insanely cool. Insanely cool. Again, this stuff down here, I think it's just like the bioform, as they're bioforming the planet. Hormagant. I think this is a Hormagaunts, and this is one of the things that why I'm wondering about the Hormagaunts / Termagant dual kit, because I don't think that Termagant spine, like running down the center of the model, is going to support a Hormagaunts quite as well as this. Like, this is leaping forward with the Hormagaunts claws at the top, the little claws underneath. The classic Tyranid carapace over the top. I'm really, really glad that they're kind of really leaning into the Tyranid carapace that's got the horns on it. I don't particularly like the flat one, but the horn carapace looks fantastic. Anyway, I think that's a Hormagaunts. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a Hormagaunts. But yeah, I am now veering away from the idea that they're going to have a Termagant-Hormagaunts dual kit. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to be separate kits, because I don't think the silhouette of the Hormagaunts can marry with the Termagant. Anyway, that's my opinion on that one. And this bit in the background, what is that? What is it? Again, is it all the terrain which I've been disregarding for the rest of the trailer as that's just the bioform? It's just the Tyranids bioforming the planet, or is that something like really, really grubby? Is that a massive spore mind? I'm not sure. But yeah, there you can see a much better view of the carapace of the Hormagaunts as well. Although the mouth looks incredibly small, I'm going to ignore that because I think it's going to look badass. Anyway, next picture. I think it's a Lictor. You got the little gribbly arms coming out of the front. You got the big horn bit there, and then you got the two scythes up at the top coming over the top. So there's actually more Lictors in this trailer than I thought there was. I thought there was only one when it grabbed the apothecary, but there's actually three. And yes, this is a massive cup of tea. There's actually, and it's from Cheers. It's in my Cheers pint mug. There's there's actually 3 lictors in the trailer. Right, last one. This is my last one for you. What's this? What the hell's that? I don't know. So you've got the gribbly bits hanging down, and you've got the carapace on the top. So maybe it's the Zoanthrope Doom of Malachi thingamajiggy. But like that's the last bit of the trailer. Just as the this is the there he is, the company ancient who's gone. Oh, we need a banner to save us. No, we have a Doom of Malantai. But yeah, what's that? Is that? It looks better on my screen than it does on. Well, hopefully you can still see it. But I mean, it's very, very fuzzy and it's out of focus in the background. But go and watch the trailer back and see if you can figure out what that might be. But yeah, that is all. I think it's 8. I think that's all 8 Tyranid models / new things / funky things that I found in the trailer. I hope you enjoyed it. Please drop me a like and subscribe, and comment down below if you think I got anything wrong, or if you think you've got a better idea. Then comment down below, let me know. And yeah, if you can get a clean picture of a Hormagaunt at some point in the trailer, I mean, I've got that's about the best I can get. If you can get a clean picture of a Hormagaunt in a trailer, please tag me on Twitter or Instagram. And let's see. I'm so excited by the Tyranid. I never thought I'd be this excited about a Tyranid range. This is insane. I want to paint that. I like that. I think that's the one I want to paint. I want to paint this guy. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to ramble on for even more if I'm not careful. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video. Check it out. I'm going to be talking about all the 10th edition rules that we know about at the moment and speculating what they might mean. So anyway, have a great day, and I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye bye.